All right. All right, let's get some light on the situation. Let's make some breads. I want to do this kind of regular, but I want to learn or make it better with edits and overlays and eventually do it live. I'll make some bread this morning. I've got a scale, electronic scale. First thing I'm going to do is like measure this out. So first thing we want to do is set this to grams, and we are going for, we use this, you need 400 grams of this stuff. It's called, the flour's atta flour. Oh shit, easy. And we need 400 grams of this bad boy. I think, I don't think I would have ever got into making breads if it wasn't for Dale like doing so much research on making kind of flatbreads. So you need 400 grams of that, and then you need 250 grams of 250 milliliters, should I say, or 300 milliliters of hot water. Hopefully there's going to be enough, so I don't have to reheat it again. It's going to be close, I think. It's going to be close. I didn't think about doing the hot water beforehand. So roughly 250 to 300 milliliters of water, just water. We were making it with like milk at one point, I think. But 400 grams of this atta. This flour is great for making flatbreads. It's really like milled. At this point, I tend to do something that Dale got into me. Garlic powder. Let's go ham on that. Chili flakes. This way I don't have to bother with it afterwards. It's all in the bread. And then some black pepper. But I don't put too much black pepper, to be honest. Boom. Right? Then a little well in the middle. Remember your old school classes? Yeah. Some hot water. Volcano. All the proper chefs are like, no, that's not how you do it. You add it slowly. I don't care. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I want some breads, and I want them fast, and I want them this morning. I want them straight away. So you probably think this is a major faff. You probably just nip out and grab a coffee or like a snack or a bagel at your favorite place. But I like being thrifty, man. I like saving money. And I like the idea of buying bulk and making my own shiz, my own breads. So this 400 grams of flour and the 300 milliliters of water, hot water, will make about 12 flatbreads. So I normally have 2 flatbreads in the morning with eggs, ideally fresh, but it does save in the fridge pretty good. Bit of flour on the old hands just makes it a lot easier to work with. What I tend to do is try and pull it all together without having too much on my hands. You'll get to a stage where you can like flip it over and it starts to bind together. At all times, like if it starts to get really sticky because it's warm and starts to stick to your hands, you're doing it wrong, right? You've got to keep it kind of moving, add the flour together, and then in a minute we're going to kind of knead it together so you can start like getting that shiz together. And listen, if I can do it, literally anybody can do this shit. Nothing better than having fresh breads in the morning, like breakfast wraps. The whole breakfast wrap thing came out of going to Texas, actually. Going to Austin, Texas. I used to go to South by Southwest every year in March, mainly to catch up with friends. It started off with all the seismic people, and then I started to go for like brands and just to go and drink, basically. A week of drinking and staying awake and walking around 6th Street. It's pretty much what it was. Alright, so this has come together really well this morning. Sometimes it can be super sticky and a pain in the backside. Sometimes when the weather's really hot, it's really difficult to do. But you'll notice that it's not too sticky. That's because I put flour on my hands beforehand. All right, so this is pretty good. We can get rid of this thing. Bit of flour on the board. Bit of flour on the top. We're just gonna beat the shit out of it. I'm just gonna keep on folding this bad boy. All right. Yes, I know my whole folding technique is garbage, but listen, we end up with flatbreads at the end of it. So that's all that matters. Get rid of this. Try and keep a tidy place. Just makes you less triggered. You know, this is pretty damn good actually. It's pretty binded pretty well. And now I'm going to show you a little power trick in a minute that Dale discovered from the ultimate information resource, i.e. Google and YouTube, of how to make your wraps, your flatbreads stronger and layered, so that in the pan, when you start putting ghee on this, we're going to be using ghee, which is this stuff, pure butter ghee, instead of like butter or oil. It's really good stuff. I have it all the time now. I actually don't buy butter or sugar anymore. I've cut down those things massively. All right, this is done. Nice piece of dough. That dough. Right. So at that stage, what I do though. Ooh, I got trapped. Am I still recording? Yeah, it seems to be. All right, now I've got to this stage. I'm going to cut this into three parts, three balls, if you like. So each one of these can give me like 4 wraps, 4, 8, 12 normally. But sometimes I just like make bigger wraps or smaller wraps or whatever. So kind of turn these into balls, just have those separate. These can go like in a pan or back in this, just for a minute or two. Right, so with this one, what I'm gonna do, put a bunch of this down on here, right? Get it in there. Right, and then what we're going to do is just flatten this out. See how it's like stretchy, it kind of rebounds back. It's kind of what you want. You need this good flour, like it's almost like a vodka, triple distilled flour, where they kind of finely mill it. So you can stretch this out. This is quite thick so far, so you have to kind of give it some hammer. It's good in the morning, give you a little bit of a workout, like as you stretch this bad boy out. I do enjoy making breads or flatbreads. Like I feel like if me and Dale were on the road, we would do this every single day or every few days and just sell it on the roadside to people. Whoa, easy. On the roadside to people with coffee. This is actually too thick right now, so I would probably work this a lot more to make sure it is all stretched out onto the, I'm sorry for my trashy work area, I promise you it's clean. All right, so like work it from the middle outwards. That's what she said. Oh, all right, so when you got something like this, like a flat sheet, it's still pretty thick, right? Which is kind of not what we want. We want it to kind of be thin to be a flatbread, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do now. This isn't going to go in the pan like this. This is going to actually make more. So this is what the ghee, it's actually gone solid, but when it's not, I mean, it's beautiful golden pure butter ghee, a lot more healthier for you than some of those butters, margarines and stuff out there. So what we're doing is giving this a kind of base of ghee on top of it, and this is where like the cool element comes into this, because I had no idea about this till Dale started doing it, and then we started to experiment. We ended up with some really crispy flatbreads, almost like phyllo pastry flatbreads that just fell apart when you put eggs and stuff in them. So this is too thick. Okay, see how thick this is? It's too thick. It needs to be a lot thinner than this. So I'd roll this out a lot more left and right so it's like super thin. What you do is you can do two things. You can roll it or fold it. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to pleat, almost pleat the thing. You know, you might want to spend a bit more time and be a bit more precise and perfectionist on it, but I kind of just like fold it in. And what we're doing is basically layering up all of that lovely gheeness, right? And then what I'm doing with this is splitting this into like 4 little balls. But because I might not get 4 out of this, I might just sort of do 3, fuck it, right? So what you'll notice is that they're like concertinaed because we've done that folding, yeah? And what that does is give this strength. So then we push down from the top and make those flat, right? So push down from the top, bang. That's kind of concertinaed layers with a little bit of ghee on each one of the layers. So when you're cooking it, you kind of put in, I don't know what it does, maybe it puts air between the layers, but it certainly makes them cook nicer. All right, so then at that point, I can put those in the fridge overnight. See how they've got like a lovely like swirl effect of the different layers? I can put those in the fridge if I want and not roll them out, but obviously because I'm cooking, I'm gonna make them. So the first thing I wanna do is just get myself some eggs. I'm gonna do this separately. I'm just gonna do it now so I've got it ready to go. Beautiful eggs, organic. Always try and buy the organic ones if you can. You're gonna get more protein out of the organic eggs. The more gold they are, the more chance the chicken, excuse me a second, that'll do. The more gold they are, the more protein in them, because the chickens have been fed good stuff and not Skittles and bullshit. So always buy organic eggs where you can. Right, got my eggs made. I'm not going to use them just yet. I'm going to get my pan going. This is an induction pan. I freaking love induction. Takes a little bit of getting used to compared to having like a gas or electric, but when wanting to hit the road or be off grid, buying gas all the time seems stupid. So the next best thing that I could find to buy was an induction, and then just buy, you might have to buy special pans for it. So I tend to get the ghee really hot, and then while that's getting really hot, I tend to roll out these, and you'll see they've got like strength to them, structure to them, right? Probably need to put a bit of yeah, I'm using a bottle with liquid in it. You probably need to put a bit of flour onto your board, otherwise it's going to stick to the bottle. Probably more than that, but, and you'll notice that you can't see the ghee, but in between all those layers that you made out, there's ghee in there, so it's cooking all the way through the flour. I think if you just bunged them in, you would just end up with like really floury wraps. And while that would be nice, just having that butter in there and applying heat to all those different layers, you end up with like, I don't know, just like a tastier, crispier wrap. So these are pretty thin. It's not bad, not bad. But when you can kind of like get it in your hand like that, it's pretty good. And then what I tend to do with the pan is make sure that all the liquid is everywhere, all the ghee is everywhere, so that you get like an even cook. And then as I'm cooking each one, I tend to cook them first, so that goes in. As I'm cooking each one, I'm rolling out the next, so I can get my like breakfast on the go. Sometimes I just do what I need for my breakfast, and then sometimes I cook everything all at once and then put them in the fridge, and then you can just use the pan to kind of reheat them again. And it's got to the point now where I actually prefer making my own breakfast wraps than any other kind of breakfast wraps. Of course, I still like the UK Breakfast of Champions breakfast, but you can't have those every day of the week. You'll be the size of a house. So I kind of make these now. It's something that you like get used to after a while. In terms of making, they become really quick. I love having that like additional activity in the morning. You'll notice how strong this flour is as well. Like, it's not tearing or anything. It's just doing really well. This is coming together. You'll notice how golden brown that will get. So you can do these quite quick to make them kind of soft, so that you can wrap something in the middle of it, or you can leave them in for a while, make them a bit more crisper, and then you can like divide it up, use it with hummus or whatever you want. Really becomes like a staple of everything I eat, because we use the Instapot to make rice and everything else, and you can kind of just fill these with your favorite things. But my favorite thing in the morning is obviously eggs, and then the heat that's in the pan from cooking these really intently, I then chuck my eggs in, turn the power off, and then the eggs go in the middle, wrap them up, jobs are good. So I'm going to probably jump ahead on the video to get to all of these, or 2 of these cooked, and then do my eggs, and then I'll show you what they look like. Oh yeah, another thing I should say, every time one comes out, I put more ghee into the pan for the next one, because obviously the ghee soaks up into it. So you've got ghee inside it on multiple layers, and then you've got like ghee on either side, and it will start to brown if you give it enough time. And it just make sure it's all cooked through. You can see where the colour changes in it. So I get those wraps. Yeah. I love sriracha. So sriracha on my eggs every time, all day, every day. Hate it when I run out of sriracha. Let's see where we're at. Alright, this one's pretty much like, it'll do. It's not great, but it'll do. So this is where it gets a little bit awkward, because you want to like move stuff off. Alright, so there's one. More ghee in the pan. Pan's red hot. Move that oil around in the pan. Or butter, I should say. Next one in. Pretty good. Pretty good, not bad. I'd probably do that for a bit longer, but I'm hungry and I want to get started. So bit of sriracha in the middle. And cook the eggs, put the eggs, roll it up. Jobs are good. Fairly easy, right? Fairly straightforward. But I freaking love to make bread. I think I might start doing voiceovers and using the bread making as the kind of content that you watch, almost like those videos that you watch that are just like therapeutic as you make it out. And it's a thing that I do quite a lot through the week. So maybe I should do my like thoughts on Steam or dApps or blockchain or course making or live streaming or whatever, but do it while I'm making breads. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those times when you're making something in the kitchen. I can understand now why people who make cakes and stuff on YouTube in the kitchen, your mind is just like going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, especially when you're hungry or you're like really focused on making something. You're just chatty. Ooh, baby. I say that quite a lot as well when these breads come out. We've had some incredible breads. We kind of alternated between who was making the breads in the morning. Dale was making the most gorgeous phyllo pastry style kind of fall apart breads. We've tried lots of different flours. This one is an atta light flour, so it's very finely milled atta flour, ATTA, and I would heartily recommend you buy it in bags of like 10 kilograms, because you can buy a big bag of the stuff and you can get the price of these wraps down to like a penny each, which is crazy when you think about how much you spend on like breakfast wraps and breakfast food. And then if you've got like an egg hookup, then you're good to go. At this point, because the pan's so hot, I turn the power off on the induction. I've got it down to like a fine art now. Just keep moving the eggs about in the pan. There's no heat on. You don't need any heat on because you've been doing the breads, so the pan's like extra hot. And you just get used to it after a while. It depends how you have your eggs, but like these are pretty much done for me. Once I like moving them about a bit. Dale will be testament to how good my fluffy eggs are. You really don't need to give too much heat to eggs. Like, those bad boys are done. Let's take this piece. Oh, baby, 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 baby. Oh my God, my just had that like effect in my mouth where you like on the roof of your mouth, you just like get the taste sensations going. And then literally just wrap them up, man. Just wrap them up. Good to go. See, it's kind of crispy, but like perfect little breakfast fluffy eggs with sriracha in wraps. Perfect.